And we're live. UFC Seattle Fight Day live chat. Check. There we go. I believe it is working now. Just double checking. There we go. We are back. All right. Sorry about that. Stumbling out the gate. I'm not sure exactly what happened there. All right. Getting back to my train of thought. Like I said, I will be going live for both fights tonight. UFC kicks off at 5 p.m. Eastern, first prelim. I'll be live for that. And then the PFL main card actually is scheduled to start right after the main event of the UFC. There might be maybe a little bit of overlap in terms of the first PFL main card fight and the UFC main event. But again, I will dual screen both of those for you guys and watch those, sipping on some wine, enjoying the fights. Hopefully cashing some tickets. Last week, you guys saw me withering in pain, and essentially, as those fight cards were going on, especially after Losine Keita fumbled the bag for us. Hopefully, this is a much happier stream on the watch party. But I did dedicate at least 2 watch parties per month for you guys. So this will be the 2nd of March. Again, we got the watch party is for YouTube members only. It's $2 a month. Anybody can watch the stream, but to participate in the live chat, you got to be a member. And we got a decent crew of guys that are normally in there. Shout out mainly to my guy Matthew Tyler, who's always in there. But we do often have a few other guys. I think Wasabi Poppy is one of them as well. But I do gift memberships. So if you're in the live stream, usually after the second fight, I will gift memberships. So I get 5 memberships I can give out per live stream. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So if you're in the live chat and you don't sign up, you're probably going to get a free membership. Fingers crossed. Otherwise, again, $2 a month I don't think is too bad, considering, keeps the trolls out, keeps the negativity out, and keeps the vibes high. But again, this is the Fight Day live chat. This is the stream for you guys to give your last minute comments, questions, concerns for the upcoming UFC event. There just so happens to be a PFL card as well, so I'll answer any questions that you guys got for that. You guys know what my lock of the night play is if you guys checked out the best bets segment that I dropped on Thursday. Chalky, probably the chalkiest one that I've gone with this year, but considering the slump that we're on, just the absolute shit show we've been having in 2026, got to get on the board. And I believe I've bet this spot every time this guy has competed in the UFC and we have cashed every single time, it is the Terrence McKinney under 1.5. I got minus 285. It dropped to about minus 220, I believe, after an interview with Terrence McKinney came out where he talked about not going berserko or wildo mode this weekend, but rather trying to go the full 50 minutes. But I think that is... I think that's just fodder. I don't think it's something that he's going to stick to. I think once he lands a big shot or if he gets hurt, he's going to look for an exit or he's going to look for the finish. I think roughly the mean odds on that right now are about minus 250. I'm seeing the line start to climb back up. But again, that Terrence McKinney under 1.5 has been an absolute gold mine. 12 UFC fights. All 12 of those fights finished under 1.5 rounds. Only 2 of them going into the second round. Yeah. If that doesn't hit, this is going to be a fucking weird year all around. All right, let's get into the comment section here. Or actually, I will let you guys know what my free pick is. I obviously drop a free pick on the Instagram page whenever I drop the predictions post. I put a free play on there for you guys. I'm going Casey O'Neill. Earlier this week, I was able to get her in at plus 120. Money has steadily come in on her over the last couple of days, and she's actually ballooned up now to about minus 125, minus 130, which I still think is a decent enough line to shoot on. And again, I will reiterate this again. Take the information with a grain of salt. It has been a weird year all around. I will continue to just give my predictions and my picks and all that stuff as best as I can. But yeah, your boy been cold. Let's put it that way. All right, let's see what the live chat is saying. My guy Sal, right on time. Yes, we got the audio issues fixed. John Pham saying, what time does the prelim start today? UFC prelims kick off at 5 p.m. Eastern. PFL prelims kick off at 7 p.m. Eastern. Ultra Bayern saying, what are your lock for UFC and PFL today? UFC I just gave out. I'm going McKinney under 1.5. Again, chalky. I just got to get on the fucking board. PFL, I'm going to leave that one for the Patreon folks. I feel like I give enough with the UFC. But PFL, you're going to have to check out the MMA LOTM Patreon page for that good stuff. In terms of prediction, I'll give you guys a quick rundown of my predictions for the PFL card. At least, I dropped that prediction for you guys, or that prediction video for you guys yesterday evening. But I'll just quickly run down the PFL card from bottom to top. In terms of what my predictions are and any plays that I might want to just sprinkle in there to kind of fill you guys in. Duprat Ghosts, I'm going Duprat. The under 1.5 is really good there too. I'm going Fremd. I'm going Poster Nakova. I'm going Masayuki Kikuiri to pull off the upset. Really like Robert Watley. I'm going Natan Schultz, but that's a very, very close fight against Jakub Kashuba, especially with Schultz coming off of such a long layoff. I'm going Alan Bogoso to pull off the upset. I'm going Lazaro Dyron, obviously big favorite there, but I like the over 1.5 in that fight. Pergande Arce, I'm going Pergande, but tough matchup for him. Biggest step up in competition for Pergande. I'm going Lipsky over Inaba. I'm going Rasta over Kasanganai. And then I'm going Eblin to grind out Brian Battle. So there you guys go. The Izzy and Piper fight feels weird. It does. My guy Gizmo's Revenge dropping that comment there. Yeah, it feels very fucking weird, right? It feels... I don't know. Like I almost had the same feeling when Izzy went in to fight Imavov, and I felt pretty good about Izzy going into that matchup, and he didn't look too bad in that first round. The second round, obviously, he gets clipped right off the bat and put away, so it makes you wonder, like, can he still eat big shots? Something that he used to rely upon earlier in his UFC career was his reflexes, right? That helped him get out of the way of big shots from his opponents, his footwork, his distance management, his speed. But as he's getting up there in age, we know those things start to dwindle, and maybe we're starting to see that now where he can't be as defensively responsible as he used to. And if you're not defensively responsible against a heavy hitter like Joe Pyfer, things could turn sideways pretty quick. Also, there's the potential wrestling aspect of it for the Pyfer side of things. But yeah, very weird fight. Again, that's one where I predicted Pyfer to win, and I'm hating it even up to fight day. I'm very much hating that I'm picking Pyfer. It kind of reminds me of Kamaru Usman against Joaquin Buckley. Usman was a guy that I was saying was the best pound for pound fighter, during his reign as welterweight champion. He's one of the best fighters of all time. Pace, pressure, wrestling, improve striking. But then that little bit of a slump that he had against Edwards, the loss to Khamzat Chimaev, even though that was kind of close and on short notice, I don't know why it kind of just pulled me off of Usman and thought that, okay, this guy's, getting close to the end of his career. He can give us good performances. And Buckley's streaking right now. Buckley will probably be able to touch the chin and possibly put him away. I will say this, to this day, I have yet to watch that fight. I believe that fight occurred when I was wrapped up with some family stuff. And I haven't watched the fight back. I just saw the result and I was like, of fucking course Usman won. Luckily, I didn't play or bet the Buckley side that night, but I was still, very tough. So, yeah. So that's why, I don't know, predicting Pyfer, but just staying off of it. Although I don't mind his early round props. Early round props look really good. I saw like plus 700 on round 1, plus 800, plus 900 on round 2. I think you can get even go wider than that as well. Yeah, we don't need none of that negativity out here and spreading lies. There we go. Anyway, I knew it was just a matter of time before something like that popped off, but we're not going to address that bullshit. Yeah, prelims start at 2 p.m. PST. That's right. 5 p.m. Eastern. I like to go EST. But yeah, PST. Andre saying, Locke, do you think there's a real shot at Pyfer winning a decision? It's possible if he comes out wrestling heavy, but I feel like that might impact his gas tank. I will say this. I know there's a lot of big narrative out there about Pyfer having a bad gas tank because of that performance he had against Jack Hermansson. I'm willing to give Pyfer a bit of a pass there because of improvements, right? Still a young-ish fighter. That was his first 5-round fight. Hermansson came in with a frustrating game plan. A lot of people struggle against Hermansson when he tries to do that type of style. We saw Chris Curtis struggle with it as well. But I think that we'll see Mr. Pyfer showcase a little bit better gas tank, if that's the plan, right? His plan could potentially be to just go out there, throw big shots, try to get a knockout, or wrestle right away and try to get the fight to the ground and maybe find a submission. He has a good enough submission game to potentially catch Izzy as well. I'd say there's a slim chance that Pyfer wins by decision, but it's not one that I'm really looking to back. I think if he wins, it probably comes early. I don't know how I feel about it because Izzy's movement hasn't looked the same as of lately, and I have zero faith in his chin. That's the other big thing, right? I feel like the early round props might be the better way to go for Pyfer. Gizmo's Revenge saying, feel like Pyfer gonna put on a snooze fest. He doesn't have the rage anymore. Maybe it makes him better, right? Maybe the humble persona allows him to tune in a little bit better, and then he's able to go out there and actually throw big shots and be a little bit more locked in. So, yeah. I don't know. I'm scared Izzy is going to get rocked. My money is on Hooper and Bahamundes tonight. Yeah, Izzy's chin is just if he eats some big shots here from Pyfer, which he's inevitably going to have to, and he's able to survive it, then I'll give him a little bit more faith moving forward. But we see this time and time again, right? Like dominant champions go out there, have their dominant run, and then when things start to slip, it slips big time. And Adesanya could be the most recent case of that. That was before everyone made Jack Hermanson their highlight reel. Yeah, that too. Jack's chin just doesn't hold up anymore, right? That's the other issue. Also, Jack Hermanson going down to 170 was probably a horrible idea, right? He's probably still knocked out since Mick Tybeck or Olbai put him out cold. Gizmo's Revenge saying the trauma gave him power. Is he going to dance around him? Maybe. We know Izzy has the technical striking edge here, but he's going to get caught. Can he eat it is the question. And I don't normally like backing guys that need to land that big shot to get the win, right? Maybe at plus money. But we also have the possible wrestling edge that we could see Pyfer look to take. I don't know though, because Izzy is so emotional this fight. Gonna be weird. Maybe Lifer or Pyfer just sparks him and I'm overthinking it. It's possible. It's so hard to read the emotions of fighters going into fights and whether it's going to be a positive thing or a negative thing for them. That's kind of the issue that I have with trying to figure out which way to go there. You know, Pyfer's all humble now. Another thing to take into consideration, he had this like picks and predictions show that he did with Sean Brady called, I think, like Money Bags or something like that. Or Brady Bags. I forgot the name of it. But either way, apparently Sean Brady's saying he's not doing the show anymore. Like, he just threw it in there as like a 20-second thing saying, hey, you know, all love to Pyfer, but he's not going to be doing the show anymore. There was that clip as well going around of Izzy and Pyfer, you know, at the weigh-ins, and then even after the weigh-ins, they like hug each other, and Pyfer says something in Izzy's ear, and Izzy's like, "Oh, for real?" Like he was surprised about something that he heard. So maybe something happened in Pyfer's life recently. Maybe he lost a loved one or something like that. Maybe if he wins, he'll talk about it on the mic. But he's probably going through something right now. We don't know if that's going to positively or negatively impact him. Is it going to give him motivation to go out there and try to get the win, or is he going to be distracted and then he ends up getting clipped by Izzy? So this is a must win for Izzy though. That's a big thing that we need to consider as well. My guy Oak6525 saying 2,300 on Sterling plus Barber. Wow. I like the Sterling leg. I think he pretty much dummies and finishes Lopez. Barber, I'm not as sold on as a lot of people seem to be. I'm kind of surprised at that. You know, Barber's been on a run. Obviously, she hasn't lost since her first fight or first loss against Alexa Grasso, 8 fights ago or whatever it was. But I still think Grasso's got it. Like, I know she hasn't looked good in the last couple of fights, but stylistically speaking, those were tough fights. So, yeah, I'm on the Grasso side there. Good luck if you do if that's what you played. But yeah, I'm on the Grasso side there. Rocco 4000 saying, who's next for Izzy, win or lose? Interesting question. It's got to be somebody ranked, right? Let me pull up the rankings here. Win or lose, it's got to be somebody ranked. Middleweights. So he's fighting Joe Pyfer, who's 14, right? Izzy's all the way at number 4. If he wins, how about we give him a fun matchup against Christian Leroy Duncan, who's been streaking as of late? Maybe Izzy versus Hernan, Fluffy, but I don't think that will end up happening. Maybe Izzy versus the winner of Brendan Allen versus Edmund Shabazian. That might be you know, win or lose, that could be a good next matchup for Izzy, the winner of the winner of Allen and Shabazian. Shabazian not even ranked, which is crazy. Crazy to think that Brendan Allen goes from beating Renier de Ridder on short notice in a main event, and now he's fighting a guy that's not even ranked. Horrible. I think the thing that came out about that was that they both have the same manager. They're both managed by Ali. So Ali probably got into his ear and said, hey, take this fight. Not a good look. Looking like this could really be a banger of card. It could. There's some fun violence fights on here, but I'm really looking forward to Bahamundes versus Musayev. That should be a very fun fight. Also, on the same note, the PFL card. That might be the first time we've ever seen a PFL card as stacked. Not stacked, but the lines not being as wide. It's the least chalkiest PFL card I think I've ever seen. Go look at the lines on that card. It is, a lot of those are minus 180 or closer or something like that. So, yeah. Izzy looked dead on the scales. I would say avoid putting money on him. It's just such a weird fight, right? Like we've been talking about it for the last little bit here. It's an intriguing fight. I think that's why a lot of the questions in the live chat right now are about that fight. I like, again, I'm on the Pfeiffer side, but it's very hard to have uber confidence on either side. David Netto saying, when fighters seem to have cardio issues, how long is it before they can realistically do enough in training to make a drastic or decent enough change to make a difference in a fight? I think it's subjective on the fighter, right? Like how proactive are they to go out there and address that? Andre Lima is a fighter that I, kind of accused of having cardio issues, but in recent fights, his cardio has looked pretty fucking good. The other part of that is how is their game planning? Right? Are they going out there and just being reckless with their gas tank as Terrence McKinney normally is? Or can they actually manage themselves and, put together a good enough game plan where they're not just going out there and spilling the beans right away? So it really depends on the fighter. I'm willing to give them a certain amount of fights. I don't think Pfeiffer looked horrible in the third round against Kelvin Gastelum. That's obviously where we saw Gastelum realize he needed a finish and start to push. And I think most of the judges gave Gastelum that last round. But in a 5-rounder, somebody won't push as hard in the third round knowing that they potentially have 2 more rounds to go. A part of me hopes we get that answered today. I hope we see Pfeiffer go into deep water and see what kind of information we can extract from there. But the other part of me, the predictor part of me, wants to see Pfeiffer just get the early win here. The fan in me wants to see Izzy get the win. Very, very tough fight. Wasabi Poppy saying, Pfeiffer saying he found God, I believe. Again, I think somebody in his family may have passed away. Or maybe somebody got cancer or something like that, right? It's very weird to see him switch up as much as he has. Andre saying, lock just in general, when you're really confident in a play, what's the most juice you'll take on a play? No more than minus 170. Dude, more than that. Tonight's UFC lock of the night play is a perfect example of when I would take, I'm taking minus 285. Generally, I don't like to go higher than minus 275, 270, but I'd have to have like a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 confidence on playing something like that. It's not often though. I like to make my lock of the night plays no more than minus 200, minus 220. I don't think would be too bad either. Minus 170 is obviously not a bad line, but I don't mind eating chalk. Like I've done fairly well outside of 2026 in terms of betting chalk and being successful with it. Just picking my spots. That's kind of what the lock of the night play is. I don't mind playing underdogs as lock of the night plays, and the few times we've done it, I think we've hit more often than not. But I don't mind paying chalk. Again, this is a long-term game. People want to play parlays and only play guys that are minus 250 in a parlay, but there's no shame in playing them straight. MMA is already a very volatile game. 2026 has already shown us that. So to only have to rely on one thing to happen specifically, as in, just get the fucking win, doesn't matter how, it's not a bad play if you're confident enough in it. When you add the other leg to it, that's when things get a little bit riskier, right? Can two things go right? It's not as easy as making sure one thing goes right, if you know what I mean. Hopefully that answers your question there, Andre. Tyler Betts in the chat. Oh, you're headed to the event. Very nice. Hell yeah. My guy Bachoy Brada on Instagram is heading there as well. Shout out to you guys in Seattle, man. You guys are really getting spoiled. Last year, you guys got an event around this time. This year, you're getting around. It seems like the UFC is invested in Seattle, February or March of every year. Lucky you guys. Hitting Gates in the chat. Appreciate you stopping by. Ciao to you as well. The Chosen One. Appreciate you stopping by. I know you've been a little bit critical of me in the comment section, but for good reason, right? I haven't been doing that great. And I know that when you say those things, you mean it as not encouraging, but, just letting me know what's up. And I appreciate that. I can get down with that. I know somebody commented back to you and said, hey, shut up. You're not the ones with the YouTube channel. And I kind of told that guy to, simmer a little bit, right? I get what, Chosen One's been one of the real ones on the comment section and the live chat and all that stuff. So I'm always willing to give you the benefit of the doubt because how much love you show, even when you're a little bit critical of me. I am, it's warranted considering the run that we've been on. So I appreciate the love and stopping by regardless. Do you think Abdul can finish Yusri? It's possible. I'm not predicting that to happen, but it is possible. I think Abdul-Malik, obviously explosive, fast, big power. He might be able to, tumble the tower here by landing a big shot. But I think he's going to have to do it early because as Yusri starts hitting him, as he starts blooding up the nose, as he starts jabbing away at him, it's going to get harder and more frustrating for Abdul to do that. And I think that's where he can get into more trouble against this slicker kickboxer. I think a lot of people are hoping that Abdul is going to wrestle. It's possible, but he's not a crazy heavy wrestler. He likes to utilize his athleticism as best as he can. So I think Abdul's best chance is finding that big shot to put him away. I think that's his best way to win this fight. Otherwise, I think Yusri just picks him apart. Carlos saying, if I'm a manager, I'm never putting my fighters against each other like one of the fighters are going to distrust them after the loss. That's the issue with two management companies in particular. Ali's, which is the one that we were just discussing, right? Dominance MMA. He's got Brendan Allen. He's got Edmund Shabazian. He's got a bunch of all those, Dagestani guys as well. The other one is Iridium. I'm sure if you guys watch regional MMA, Iridium has their own shorts that they give their fighters, and almost every matchup you see them wearing Iridium shorts. I believe it's managed by Jason House. They have way too many fighters, and they have a lot of moments where the guys end up fighting each other. So, yeah, it's tough. I don't know how Ali managed to convince Allen to fight Edmund Shabazian after he beat a guy that was, so damn close to a title shot in Renier de Ridder, right? De Ridder probably gets a title shot if he ended up beating Brendan Allen that night. Who knows? But now you're fighting an unranked guy who's very dangerous. Don't get me wrong, I still think Brendan Allen beats Shabazian. I think I'm going to go with the Allen side there that night, depending on what the odds are. But in terms of outright prediction, my early lean is Brendan Allen. But still, just a waste of time of a fight, if I'm being honest. You got to fight a ranked guy, especially if you're as highly ranked as Brendan Allen is. Let's be serial in chat. Been a minute since I've seen you here, my guy. The lines predict Pfeiffer. Are you a fortune teller? Are you reading the lines, the palm of the betting market right now? Let's see how it goes. Carlos saying Mansour Abdul-Malik is so overrated in my opinion. Belgari fought and trains with Pereira while Mansour looked awful against Cody Brundage. I'll agree with one thing that you said in there. Maybe two things. One thing for sure, I believe Abdul-Malik is overrated. I think he's a good fighter. I think he has potential. I think he's still a little bit raw in the mixed martial arts game. I think he has a decent ceiling. But as of this moment, I think he is a bit overrated. In terms of the Cody Brundage fight, I think that was the first fight where he may have felt a little bit of threat from his opponent. That's why we saw such a stalemate of a first round. And then in the second round, we really saw... then we saw Abdul-Malik start to throw a little bit more. And then in that third round, whatever happened with the headbutt and then the finish. But this will be his toughest matchup. This will be a guy he won't be able to easily take down and hold down. I think he'll struggle to hold Yusri down. And I don't think he has a striking edge here. And I think it's going to be hard for him to find that chin of Belgari. If he does, he has the nuclear option. He could absolutely put Belgari away. Don't get me wrong. That is absolutely something that could happen. But technically speaking, if Belgari shows as good of takedown defense and grappling defense as he did against Azamat Bakoyev, who in theory should be a better grappler than Abdul-Malik, then in the striking game, if it's pure striking, I believe you have to go with Belgari. Those first 5 minutes will be very nerve-wracking, and probably the first minute of the beginning of the next 2 rounds should we go into the third round. But Belgari should, once he starts to settle into it, start picking him apart and start landing better combinations and good counters. Tyler Betts saying, I think Pyfer is just dating a Christian girl now. I love it. I fucking love it, Tyler. Hilarious. OKK saying this Pyfer sucks. I need the hot head back. Yeah. Entertainment wise, obviously it's a little bit better. I don't mind these guys being humble, and I don't mind these guys, talking to one another and having good camaraderie and stuff. We don't always need bad blood, but we'll see. We'll see what kind of performance we get out of him, given this newfound mentality he has. JK saying, I'm going to the event also. Nice. Should be a good card. I think you guys are getting a very good main event here. Like one that you can't 100% say that one guy's going to win, right? Like the last one you guys got was Song Yadong versus Henry Cejudo. I felt pretty good about Song that night. He seemed to be showing out for the most part. Very anticlimactic ending to that fight as well. But yeah, this one's a good one. Hopefully it doesn't have a shitty ending. But, for the most part, there are some bangers on there. Scanny, like the live chat. Thanks for the reminder. Appreciate the love. Still no UFC in Los Angeles announcement yet this year. I feel like usually they go to LA in January, right? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know when that LA announcement's coming. I know Netflix MMA is doing their show at the Intuit Dome in May. If you want to go to that, they're much more affordable tickets. Half decent card as well for a hardcore MMA fan. Not to mention some geriatric fights as well, but still, not a bad card to go to, especially for the price range that they're putting out there. Let's be serious, saying the posture lines at the stand-ups. Got it. I love that new thing that people are, going into, like one guy standing straight, one guy a little bit more hunched, or like the angle in which that they're standing. Amazing. Doing this for as long as I've done it, I feel like I've seen so many different styles of, and I get like the whole lines thing is a little bit tongue in cheek. Like it's a little bit, it's meant to be a little bit funny, a little bit comedic in a sense. But on the real, I've seen so many different types of predictors, people that choose different paths of talking and trying to predict fights, trying to break down fights, things that people lean on. One thing I've always kind of been against, and then I end up falling into it, specifically this year, are the weigh-ins, right? People like to look at the weigh-ins, specifically the face-offs, and be like, this guy's going to win because he looked at him in the eyes, and the other guy couldn't look at him straight or anything like that. The other guy was, mogging him or whatever the fuck. No. To a casual fan, sure. But for you to completely discredit the resume a fighter has built up into the point of that fight is asinine. Again, I've been on a tough stretch this year. I'll say you can say whatever you want about that, but fights should be based on what you've seen them showcase in the cage in the past. Even more so in the past against the same type of style that they're fighting in the upcoming fight. Obviously, you can take into consideration training partners, the gym they're at, their weight cut to a certain point. But I don't think a face-off is going to be the be-all, end-all of why a guy deserves to win a fight. Trends as well, right? Trends as well is another thing. There are certain trends that you can get behind, but I think every single matchup is a different equation. It's a different puzzle. It is subjective. Every single matchup. And you just have to see how those fighters match up. Age, styles, strengths, weaknesses, all that stuff. So that's just me being an old head, right? Like I believe I've had this YouTube channel for 8 years almost at this point, maybe 9 years going on. And I break down the fights the way that I always have. And I've gotten to the point where I'm nearly at 10,000 subscribers, not doing this crazy, talking shit, flashing fancy things and cars and all that shit. I just work hard. That's it. Just predict the fights, do the studying, put out the research, put out the videos. That's what I'm leaning on. And then also the MMA Fight Archive. Shout out to the MMA Fight Archive. If you're a part of that, you know what's up. If you're not, go find out. It's a great service to help you study and save you a boatload of time. Truth and Logic saying, yep, New Piper is going to get finished tonight. Wow. I wonder if, do you think he's just going to be super gun shy and just willing to get hit? Who knows? It's possible. Keel 6298, appreciate you stopping by. Wager Zone in the chat. Glad you're here as well, my friend. Hopefully you're not working this time around. Fisherman D-Rock, appreciate you stopping by here, my friend. MMA fans are so goofy and fickle, it's hilarious. So confident in their own prediction until it doesn't happen. Then they rinse and repeat the following week. LMFAO, not you, but definitely some here. To me, it's the bravado, right? It's the uber confidence. It's the, not willing to hear the other side. That's kind of where I'm hung up on certain people, not people. Again, I don't really communicate as much, with, people nowadays in the industry, but there are those people that are just like, this is 100% going to hit, which is kind of weird to hear from a guy that's, who has a channel named MMA Lock of the Night. But I always say, whenever I have the opportunity to explain it, I say Lock of the Night is my most confident bet, on a card at decent odds, and widely available. And it's not always going to hit. It's just my most confident. Doesn't mean it's going to 100% hit. But yeah, I don't like the, nor do I fuck with the whole, just planting my flag 100%. 'Cause I know that's what gets clicks, and I know that's what, if you're right, I know that's what people are going to be like, oh, this guy knows his shit because he's so confident in what he does. You're going to lose. You're going to go on a losing streak too. You're going to go on a crazy winning streak. It's possible. But that's the game, man. The MMA, I think that's why we love the sport as much as we do, because you just don't know what the fuck is actually going to happen. You can put as much studying and research and time into it, but you can't predict. Like, for example, last night with the LFA, I was really high on Leandro Solano. I know his first LFA performance, he got stopped after round 1 due to an eye injury and cuts that he had received. But after that, made better improvements, grinded guys out, showcased a smothering grappling pace where he can go 15 minutes if he needs to, and even finish guys. Yet, for some reason, he fucking gassed out in 3 minutes yesterday and got TKO'd near the ending of the first. How? Like, even in that other loss that he had, he didn't gas out. He just got bloodied up. He was going to be able to continue in the second round. Shit happens. It is what it is. You just do your research and you put out whatever information you're able to get and see where the cards end up. See where their dice roll, right? So yeah. There's my rant about being overly confident on one side or the other. And here's another thing, not just, fans, I guess, predictors in a sense as well, but commenters as well, right? Luckily, I'm blessed to have guys that constantly watch the content and know even in spots that I end up losing that, like, I've got the reads in a sense. They know I do the research. I do this thing full time. So I'm putting in the time for the research and predicting these things. But then the ones that just come and say, oh, you're killing it. And then when I lose a couple, they're like, oh, you fucking suck. You're horrible. Like, it is what it is. It really is what it is. Wager Zone saying I just got off. Nice. I got off early today. Have an interview with Benny Orozco at 12 p.m. PST. I believe that's in, about just over an hour. Shout out Benny Orozco, man. Shout out Benny fucking Orozco. That guy is a beast. Submitted Jacoby Jones a few weeks ago for the LFA. Says he wants to go down to 145 pounds, which I think would be much more beneficial for him because he's an undersized lightweight. That guy is like Marab light in a sense, but a little bit more aggressive in terms of getting the finish. And we saw that obviously in the Jacoby Jones fight. Let Benny know that I said what up. I've been chatting with him here and there on the IG DMs. Ever since he posted my video of his breakdown after he won, that's my guy. That's my guy. I love seeing that. I've had a few interactions with fighters after their fights where they'll like comment on my video or they'll like reach out to me or something like that. Benny Orozco was one of them. Michael Aswalt was one of them after his Contender Series loss to Bogdan Grad. I predicted Grad. He gave me my props for that, which I was surprised to see. And the only negative one that I've had was Sasha Palatnikov. When I picked against him against one of the Kosi brothers, he came into my YouTube video. He's like, you suck. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. And then he went on to go and lose his next few UFC fights and get cut. It is what it is. Fisherman saying, bashing others' opinions too. You are 100% correct. Understandable. Yeah. Most confident pick tonight. So lock of the night play for me tonight. Chalky. Again, it's been a rough year for lock of the night plays. I will preface that, hence why I'm comfortable and okay with taking the chalk. But I've also taken this position pretty much every time this guy's fought. Terrence McKinney, under 1.5. 21 of his 25 fights, 24 of his 25 fights have finished inside the distance. 21 of those 25 fights have finished in round 1. 12 of his UFC fights all finished under 1.5 rounds. Only 2 of them going into the second round and still finishing under 1.5 rounds. So I'm going chalky today. Lock of the night play is the McKinney under 1.5. You can roughly get it around minus 250 right now. There was that interview he did earlier this week where he talked about, taking his time a little bit more. I just think that might be him bluffing in a sense. He's gotten solid performance of the night bonuses. This is a winnable fight for him. I don't think he has a great gas tank anyway. It should be a banger. And I'm expecting it to finish under 1.5 rounds. You're going Arosa, Douglas under 1.5. I could see that. My only issue is Arosa's chin is a pure wild card. Sometimes it shows up and he's able to eat big shots and go 50 minutes like he did against Melquizael Costa. Sometimes it doesn't show up at all and he gets starched. I lean with him getting starched today. That's kind of my prediction. I just can't build the confidence in it to the point to say it's my most confident pick. But I'm wishing you the best. I will be rooting for you here. Braden in the chat, appreciate you stopping by. Confident Bahamundes gets it done this week. I think he wins. A little bit chalky for my liking, I must say, at minus 320. I think it's a little bit chalky. Musaev is still dangerous, but I like the under there, which has been taking some weird action this week. When I first started, it was about minus 145, got up to about minus 180. Now I'm seeing on fight day, it's roughly around minus 125, minus 130. So I like the under more than Bahamundes money line. But yeah, I like the violence more in that. Luis Rodriguez saying, I respect the grind and wish you continued success. Appreciate the love, my friend. Appreciate the love. Harami saying, you must be mad picking a Piper. Trust me, brother. I'm hurting. It hurts me this week to pick against him. And I'm a guy that often looks to fade Piper, right? I cashed against Piper with Jack Hermanson. I faded him a few more times after that, and he's kind of bit me in the ass. Izzy is easily his toughest test to date, but I just don't like the form that Izzy's in as of late. I might be mad. Harami, I might be mad. It's just how I feel. My heart hurts, but my brain is like, this, trust me. Do this. So we'll see. I will admit I did not play his money line though. It didn't get wide enough to the point where I was like, okay, I got to do this, especially with the lack of confidence that I have. But I do like the early round props on Piper. I think those are juicy enough. Excuse me, to actually take the shot. Lewis saying, why does no one believe that Ricky Simone runs through Yanez today? What am I missing? Simone is hit and miss, man. Simone is, I did back him against Ioni Barcelos, and you can say what you want. Maybe you rank Barcelos higher than you rank Yanez, but I think Yanez is a slicker striker, and seeing after the first round what Barcelos was able to do, I think Yanez has good enough takedown defense and get-ups to keep Simone from, really grinding this fight out. And I think we see Yanez really touch him up. Unless Simone nukes him like he did Javid Basharat, I think Yanez dictates the pace of this fight for the most part, especially in rounds 2 and 3, picks him apart and either gets the knockout or gets this on the scorecards. I will say this. I don't know where you're seeing that, nobody believes Simone will run through Yanez. The line says otherwise, right? I saw Yanez at minus 120 earlier this week. He's up at plus 160 now, which means a ton of money has been coming in on Ricky Simone. So that's something to consider. Fishman saying, I like it. I just have his money line, but if he wins, it's under 1.5. So same in my opinion. Yeah, I don't mind that. I will say this. That's kind of why I like the Michael Chiesa under 1.5 at plus 120. He's going up against Nico Price. I believe, with this being his retirement fight, I'm expecting Chiesa to go out there and really just get this to the grappling as soon as he can. And I think he's too slick of a submission specialist for Price. And I think that will lead to Chiesa getting that rear naked choke. So rather than taking minus 900 Chiesa, which I get it, the path to victory for him to possibly grind this out is there as well. But I think he's going to have that extra motivation to try to show out in front of his hometown crowd and get that submission early. So I don't mind a sprinkle there. Brennan saying, do you think Piper is smart enough to go to the grappling or will stay on the feet? I think he's going to look to try to nuke Izzy through the first round and a half. And if he's not successful with it, then he'll go to the grappling. I think he trusts enough in his power that he might be able to keep Izzy muzzled for a little bit. But then as he, starts missing on some of these shots, as he starts to have not as much power in his punches, then I think we see him start to go to his grappling. So I think it's going to take a little bit for Piper before he actually gets to his grappling. If he grapples right off the bat, then fuck do I know, right? Who knows? Maybe he wants to get the submission quickly. That could be a different way too. But I think he's going to try to seek the knockout first. Fisher saying, I'm rooting for Juicy J, but unfortunately I think he gets finished in his hometown. Is he from Seattle? I must have overlooked that. I don't know why I thought he was. I know he trains in Vegas. I don't know why I overlooked the fact that he's from Seattle. Interesting. But you never know when his chin is going to show up. That's the issue. Harami saying, bro, Adesanya takedown defense is good. I don't know how people are saying it's shit when he defended it against Imavov. I think Pyfer is a better grappler than Imavov. Imavov is a striker. Just because Imavov's name ends with Ov and he has Russian heritage doesn't mean he's a grappler. He is a striker first. His nickname is, I believe, the Russian Sniper. So don't, just because Imavov wasn't able to get him down, don't think Pyfer can't. But yeah, we'll see. You thinking Juicy J gets finished early. Fisher saying Imavov didn't try to wrestle him much. If Joe doesn't stop after 1 or 2 attempts, he will find some success. But it's a close fight. Nobody should be overly confident on either side. I'm right there with you, my friend. Harami saying Izzy will fight through the storm as he did with Poatan. He is used to heavy punchers. The issue is, I don't know if he can take those types of punches nowadays, right? Like, punch for punch, I gotta say Pyfer is a bigger puncher than Imavov. Imavov is probably the better puncher, or the better technical puncher. But I think Pyfer holds a little bit more power. So if he's able to clip him, it's possible he could get the finish too. Again, it's a tough fight to have uber confidence on. Credit to anybody who ends up cashing their ticket tonight, no matter what side they're on. But I personally can't completely find the confidence to plant my flag firmly on either side there. Fisherman saying Izzy had been finished multiple times last few fights. It takes a toll. Yep, that's true. He should win, but it's not a guarantee. Yeah, like Pyfer hasn't been finished like Izzy. Yes, that's another thing. Wager Zone saying Chiesa has never got a knockout. If he's going to get his first one, it'll be today against Price. But I got the sub 2. Yeah. Well, as long as it finishes under 1.5 rounds, I'm fine with that as well. I'd be surprised if Chiesa goes out there and swings bombs. I think Price might be more dangerous in terms of landing a big shot to put Chiesa out. So I think Chiesa will just go to what got him to the dance and hope for a quick submission win. Truth and Logic, with the perfect name for this comment. I'm not sure I trust your brain. You admitted this year has been tough. It has. It has. I will still give you my thoughts and opinions and all that stuff. That's what you guys come to these live streams for. But again, I even said it earlier in the stream. Take it with a grain of salt. It's been a weird year. It has been a weird freaking year. But I've done the research. I've done the work. I've done the tape study. I've looked at everything. Sometimes our reads will hit. Sometimes they won't. Right now, they're definitely not hitting. So, yeah, I always recommend being open-minded enough to hear all sides of the argument of a matchup and then take the points that you feel are the most important and devise your own prediction. So I might say something about Pyfer that you may have overlooked that makes you be like, okay, maybe I'm not as confident in Izzy because what he said is true. But I'm still going to go with Izzy. I'm fine with that. I'm absolutely fine with that. My job isn't to convince you 100% to flip your pick or to give you more confidence on one side or the other. My job is to give you the information I'm able to seek out and then give you guys, what you guys ultimately come here for is the prediction. But I want you guys to take the information in more than where my brain ends up calculating and having the solution to the equation. That's all I can offer you guys. Harami saying, I respect your opinion. I'm saying it's hard to go on Pyfer when he lost to a Jack Hermanson, whilst Izzy has fought everyone in their primes. True. But again, Pyfer is still early in his career. He hasn't had the opportunity to fight the bigger names the way that Izzy has. Izzy kind of, was propelled right into the UFC the way that with that kickboxing background that he had a few big performances right away and got to a title shot. Pyfer obviously hit that a little bit of a skid with, not skid, but like that road bump with Jack Hermansson. Very tough stylistic matchup there, like the way that Hermansson played that fight. But Pyfer's managed to separate himself from there, right? If that's the only reason you're going against Pyfer is because of that loss to Hermansson, you got to give him a little bit more rope because, again, younger in his career, that was his first UFC main event. He's getting better. He's getting more mature. He's getting more experience. And, we've seen guys lose in the past and come back and get the win, and showcase that they are able to reach the potential that a lot of people believe for them. I'll be the first one to admit it. I think Pyfer was largely overhyped for a lot of his UFC career. But he's starting to impress. He's starting to go into deep water. He's starting to, nearly finish guys that haven't been finished in like Kelvin Gastelum. So, again, Izzy is his toughest fight, bar none. I'm hoping Izzy wins. I'm a big Izzy fan. I don't know what it is, but my brain just keeps fucking going to pipe for probably getting that finish here. And even if that does happen, I'm not going to be like, I fucking told you so. No, that's the game. That is the game. Let's be serious, saying we've been on opposite sides before. We can always do our own research too. If we agreed on every pick and prediction, something would be fucking wrong, right? There's just no fun in just always agreeing with somebody. It's fun to have civilized, proper debates and discussions about matchups. That's what I love. And even you, Harami, right? I think you started off by saying, hey, are you mad for picking Pyfer? I think that was just, the friendly banter kind of thing. And I'm glad with how this has kind of transpired and we're able to kind of talk this out and see both sides. Harami saying, nah, I do give Pyfer his props. He is a well-rounded fighter, bro, but he ain't on that level yet. I think we'll see a similar story when Kamaru fought Buckley. Yeah, and you said it right there, right? The Kamaru and Buckley fight keeps coming into my head when I try to get to the point where I click on Pyfer as a bet. It keeps coming into my head where I'm like, fuck, man. Like, I don't know. If Izzy was a big dog, I'd be happy to take a shot on him. Like, if we got plus 150 on something like Izzy, maybe I would be confident, or not confident, but a little bit more compelled to play Izzy. But in terms of just a straight up prediction, I feel like Pyfer ends up clipping him here. Remember, I will be watching the fights live here on YouTube with you guys, so make sure you guys swing on by for that. It is the stream will be public. The only way you'll be able to take part in the live chat is going to be with the YouTube membership, but I do gift 5 memberships after the second fight of every UFC card. So if you're in the live chat after the second fight completes, you have a possibility of getting one of those memberships. But either way, $2 a month to actually chill with solid people, talking fights, having some drinks, having some fun, hopefully cashing some tickets as well, I think is much more worth it than, and nothing against the guys that are absolutely killing it, right? But to be in a live chat where like you can't even read the live chat because there's so many fucking people in it, what maybe the guy is fun to watch, whoever it is, right? Guru or anybody of the other ones that do the live streams, but like, if you want to connect with the guy that's watching, I'm here for you guys. I am here for you. But I also want to keep the trolls and negativity and all that bullshit out of here because we're not about that. All right, I'll take these last few comments, then I'm going to get out of here. Again, I will be back at 5 p.m. Eastern for the first UFC prelim for the watch party. My guy Wager Zone saying, I think Yanez wins. He was my dog of the night. I'm banking on him winning. I'm banking on him winning at least the first or second round because I think Simone will get tired and Yanez will win round 3. I think Yanez probably knocks him out. I think he ends up clipping Simone and puts him away, but I think it's possible he even wins a decision as well. But yeah, I do like Yanez a fair bit. Kind of surprised the line climbed as much as it has, plus 120 to plus 160, but I still think he wins. Wager Zone saying, yeah, Usman won me a lot of money that day. I'm still kicking myself for not considering Usman that night, especially as big of a dog as he was. Harami saying, I'm on Mansoor today. I think he'll be too crafty for Yusri. I think it would be Mansoor's athleticism, explosivity, and power that probably gets the better of Yusri, but I think Yusri is too slick of a striker. If he gets caught and put away, it's possible. If Mansoor looks to wrestle, I think Yusri should be able to nullify most of that and then get off damage while he's defending and getting back out into space. But that's another very interesting fight, too. Harami Singh Yanya's layoff, though, might be a trouble. That's possible as well. So many factors to consider for a lot of these fights. That's why I love watching them play out. And again, I'll be watching them play out with you guys live on the stream here. So make sure you guys swing on by back for that. 5 p.m. Eastern, I will be going live. As of now, I'm going to continue my studying for next week's UFC card so I can get it out for you guys on Monday. All right. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the support. I'll see you guys again at 5 p.m. Eastern. Peace.